Hi everyone, this is Killshot 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 10 Random Fan Chat, and I do have to warn you, if you guys are just tuning in, you're not going to get a whole lot of clickbait, gossip, rumors. There's really not a lot out there, but we know how important it is to get our Walking Dead group together, just to hang out for at least one night a week, talk about any and everything. It'll start out with Walking Dead. It could speculate, might turn into a mini rant, or just might be all of us just sort of hanging out with each other and talking about whatever just happens to come our way with The Walking Dead. So how about a super quick shout out to the Patreon Army. You can see them up on the screen. Thank you for everything that you guys do. We are updating the PDL sponsors, so there is no bulletin board up there for that just yet, but it will get corrected and we'll have it back in our streams hopefully by tomorrow night. So hopefully you guys are, we're going to do a little bit of funneling. I love the comments. Like, I usually get here 1 or 2 minutes and I'm just working on some last minute things. So I'm not like checking out all the comments you guys make, but my eyes will turn every once in a while. So I saw somebody popped in a little bit ago and said, hey, I remember Kills when he used to do Walking Dead Road to Survival. So we've done quite a bit. Certainly a lot of a variation of types of streams. We play our own game now. We do Walking Dead chat. Of course, we're waiting for The Walking Dead to come back like everybody else, but keeping ourselves busy as we possibly can. I see Eric Beach in the house. What's up, Eric? Good to see you. Good evening, Army. It has been a while. So, and that's why I think it's important for all of us to get together, right? During the season, when things kick off and ramp back up, we're probably going to be doing streams 5-6 times per week. We'll be cutting edge. We'll have all the latest news that's out there. We will shoot down some of the worn and tired theories that are out there is what we do. We do a lot of funneling. But any new updates, the last couple updates, honestly, I've seen, and I go searching for The Walking Dead, really is about 2, 3, 4 days ago with the Rick Grimes movie, and then the actor that played Axel did a couple interviews as well. So they were talking about, his role. And then apparently there was some plot to have a serial killer in The Walking Dead at one point. That was, it was kind of cool news. But they thought it was, they thought it was too dark. Wait a minute. A serial killer is too dark for The Walking Dead, but Alpha beheading people and putting their heads on spikes is not. You know what? I just read the news. I don't make it up. But Eric wants to know, when are we going to see the finale? That's a great question. No one knows. Jeffrey Dean Morgan thought it was going to be, he said mid-season, but that doesn't make any sense. And then they said it's kind of like a mini movie. Yeah, anything, that's a great point. They are, right? It's too dark to have a specific serial killer, but all of them in their totality are certainly serial killers. I don't know, Ben. Yeah, Julie J said the same thing. Chris Rainig, you're singing out while you play the game. Chris, I saw someone who said they were listening to the Bee Gees just a little bit ago. Now, I won't sing any Bee Gees. Well, I might. You never know. We're liable to do anything. Fluff the Flamethrower. I see you, Fluff. Carol could be considered a serial killer. A chick has knocked off a ton. Yeah. I guess at this point, it's who's not. If you've killed multiple people, and poor Glenn, they were converting Glenn into a serial killer. They just never got him there. But he gets blamed for so much. We could combine this and make it The Walking Dead, random things, and just a whole bunch of things combined into one big stream. So now that, I don't make my streams about current events because I know everybody's kind of going through their own varying degree of struggles and challenges in life. But I will say that now that things do appear to be opening up gradually, that would seem to bode well for the editing company that The Walking Dead apparently can't contract out. I thought they would have a lot of time on their hands, but I assume that I assume we're going to see it. You got to ramp it up. I mean, the fans are hungry. So let me ask this question. How many of you have been going back watching old episodes of the show? Maybe people aren't. I have not. I can honestly say I've had like almost zero time. I'm just reading some of the yeah, hey, you know what? Better late than never, Fluff. Yeah, I think it's because I would probably be so obsessed with a new show if I found one I really liked. Like, even if I found an old one, like Dexter or just something, I probably, it would just take so much of my time, I wouldn't be able to stop watching it. Because when I get into a show, I pour a lot into it. And then we'd start doing talks about it, and, one thing would turn into another. We'd be having nightly videos about it. But no, it's good to see a lot of the faces here. Once again, if you're just tuning in, we're not going to make any claim tonight to have any new info on The Walking Dead. In fact, I got to tell you guys, the well is running dry on Walking Dead information. Even the typical clickbaiters are running out of material. I mean, there's only so many ways you can take the same title and do a video of it, right? I mean, one day it's like, Daryl's going to die. Daryl's going to die soon. Daryl will die before season 12. Season 12 will be the death of Daryl. I mean, yeah, that was probably the first couple of weeks. But with all due respect, it has started to dry up a little bit more. So we can have a little bit of fun with it, and once again, has anything popped up in your news feeds lately with any strange or off-the-wall Walking Dead theories? I'm not saying, did you actually participate in it and watch it? Have you seen anything pop up in the last few days about something that kind of blew your mind a little bit? The Jerry Beardless thing? Yeah. That was a big story. Well, that's good. I was hoping, we'd maybe get some entertaining titles tonight. Because I feel like this group is going to... You guys like to push me to apologize for Maggie. That's why the last couple streams we've had, we didn't start out talking about Maggie, but it just kind of... You guys remind me of the rant, and then I almost feel like this never-ending need to apologize for my Maggie criticism. I like that title, Ben. Dwayne is alive and found with Carl. Well, who narrowly escaped a zombie bite and a gunshot wound to the head. It's a sign of weakness. All right, I won't apologize. I mean, I kind of wanted Maggie on the pike for a different reason. I thought it'd be a cool story. But then again, I think bringing her back's a cool story. It's just I go with the flow. Glenn? Exactly. You spell it the way I say it. See, that would have been if Glenn were alive, it would have sounded better than Jesus when she did that one scene. Right, Ben? So, you know how she said, like, now Jesus? You know, but if it would have been Glenn, I just think it would have flowed better. Now, Glenn? But it has to be Glenn. I mean, you couldn't keep him alive just for the sake of doing that scene because it's that, or could you? I mean, Morales. So we probably, I would imagine in 1,000 Walking Dead videos we've done, I'm sure we've touched on this at some point or another in a stream, but I don't think we've had a specific stream to talk about it. So I'll just ask some random questions since this is random fan chat tonight. What do you think is the biggest Walking Dead on-screen mistake? I'm not asking they shouldn't have let this person go, they shouldn't have let that person go. I'm not talking about contract disputes and stuff like that. But what do you think is the biggest on-screen mistake? I see you, Animal. Here's the thing. Will the group give back total control? Does Daryl still become a leader? I don't think Daryl becomes leader. I think Daryl's already respected by so many people. He's already viewed the way he is. It's just not a comfortable role for him to lead. No. I'm not talking about the CGI deer in the river water. I'm not talking about poor scenes or budgets. I'm talking about like something the writers wrote into the story. I mean, they did write the CGI. I get that. But something they wrote into the story that you think was a big mistake, like the tainted meat. Like Richard and the pigs. Didn't you feel like the tainted meat needed to be a bigger story? Yes, exactly. That's what I'm talking about, Ben. I will say, that rant I did on the beer bottle air balloon was probably bigger than the Maggie rant. I had a field day with that one. I had a lot of fun with that one. Animal says, that was meant to say, do they give control back over to Maggie? I think Maggie's going to take control, yes. And I think people are going to be okay with it. You know, I mean, we can always find good things to talk about with Fear the Walking Dead. But either some of it I blocked out of my head, or I honestly only watched it one time, and we discussed it, and it just did not create a permanent, lasting impression. Well, it is. I like Fear the Walking Dead, the tapes, the beer bottles, the Morgan speeches, and for a while, we even had our own, Fear the Walking Dead convenient. Like, everything was so unbelievable. And the sadness to the beer bottle is, had just enough. They got there. They think they're in safety. Who was it? Was it Charlie? Ben, you brought it up, so help refresh my memory. I'll have to go back and watch the scene now. I just remember they were just all kind of sitting there, and then they remembered like Jimbo had his own hot air balloon and the ability to just inflate it. So, yeah, Ben, you got us on the fear, which is easy. So, let's go back with like some of the all-time, things that make you sort of scratch your head a little bit. You got two kind of crossovers. Well, maybe three, all right? So one crossover is Morgan crossing over to help Fear. Well, we thought it was going to help Fear, but it turned into a bunch of speeches. So that's a crossover. Then you got Dwight, Sherry crossing over, but those are still characters. Then you got the story crossover, where you got CRM. But then you got the anti-crossover. And that's where, like, you should know, if you cross something over from Walking Dead to Fear, it's going to give it like a little bit of a kick. But when you cross something over from Fear the Walking Dead to The Walking Dead, it just, what? And the beta music thing was one of those things. Like, I don't even know why that Easter egg was put in Fear the Walking Dead. It's just not... there was so much about that wasn't that important. It's like, it's one of those things you want to talk about, but then you talk about it and it's like I don't know, it's like playing a game of connect the dots and there's only two dots. It's pretty easy to connect. Because we saw the scene with Alpha and Beta. We saw where they met. We saw the picture in the background. We saw the t-shirt. But the two kind of corniest things about the Beta storyline, and look, I'm okay. I'm okay that he went in and he listened to his own albums and, he had Alpha's head in a bag. But the two things about the Beta storyline that I was just sort of didn't really care for was the fact that they showed the album on the road on Fear the Walking Dead, and then Beta killed the guy who recognized him for recognizing him. That just didn't seem like, hey, it's you. I mean, am I alone on this? Am I kind of just beating it to death? Like Beta beat that guy to death? Like, why kill him? I mean, if you had somebody that looked up to you like that, couldn't they be a resource? I mean, Beta could have easily said, he could have gotten out of character for a second and just said, hey, it's you. Yeah, hey. Fist bump. By the way, go herd some walkers. We already knew Beta was an angry dude. So there was that. You guys know how I feel about the lineup. But then there's this. And I got to be honest when I say this. How many people think that Simon could have just beat Negan's ass? Am I alone in thinking that? Look, I know we like Negan for his charm. But let's be real for a minute. I think Simon could have just whooped him over and over and over again. So we didn't need to kill Simon. To me, that's another, it's not only a missed opportunity, and I'm not saying that Simon had to take over. That's not what I'm implying. Simon could have left. He could have been exiled. But again, it was Simon killed Jadis's people. Okay. That had to happen because they had to get Jadis to Rick's group, and then so Jadis could fly him away in a helicopter. So I understand. I understand why all of that happened. And I understand that Negan needed to make a point with Simon. But I also think that in a fight, Simon would have won that fight. Especially knowing you're fighting Negan and you got a chance to, everything's right in front of you, right? So I think that leaves a little bit. The Morales story. Am I alone in thinking like I could probably leave my house and if I were walking somewhere, I'd probably get lost to a certain degree. I mean, not because I'm scattered or anything. I think once you just walk a certain amount of time. So, Morgan walking to Texas. Has anybody here ever walked from Washington, D.C. to Texas? And stop in Atlanta on the way? So, Ben the Tin Man. Simon's ruthlessness led to Oceanside retaliation on Old Saviors, which led to Maggie and Daryl running Rick around, which landed him on the... So what you're saying is, Simon is the reason why Rick's no longer on the show. Now, maybe we glossed over Morgan's travel. But I'm just trying to think about how many miles it is. What do you think? 2,000 miles? Hey Siri, how many miles is it from Washington, D.C. to Dallas, Texas?
Dallas is about 1,329 miles from Washington by car.
Okay. So 1,300 miles. And he did apparently go through Atlanta. So I'm giving you 1,500 miles. Now, certainly we could calculate how many gallons of gas if he were to find car after car. Oh, I had no problem with him driving half the way. That's my problem. My problem is, where did he get all the gas? Last time I see, Carl and Rick walking down the damn street with an empty can of gas. They can't even find like enough gas to spit into the bottom of a can. But apparently Morgan can find enough gas to drive halfway around the damn country. I have a problem with that. I might turn this into a rant, but I see people walking down the street with empty gas cans, but yet Morgan, and if he found so much gas, why didn't he just turn around and give them some gas? Because they could have used it. But no, he drove all the way to Texas, or half the way to Texas, and then walked the rest of the way. 1,500 miles is a long way. That's a Lewis and Clark. I 28 months. So no weather, no walkers. I want to know how many walkers he killed on the way. Okay. And again, he ran into John Dory. So Morgan has supposedly a pretty smooth sailing trip by foot, by car, however, until he gets down to Texas. And then no sooner than the same day he meets John Dory, he meets Al. So it's just like, okay, no activity for a year, however long it took him to get there, and now all of a sudden, It's just craziness. Warp smoke. Flip. Even the dude in the old song would only walk 500 miles and 500 more, and he wanted to be with someone. I would walk 5. Yeah, that one, right? So, yes, maybe he had warp smoke trigger. Okay, but and I don't know. I don't know if the two even relate to each other. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But I want to tie this into Morales. Because then Morales, who is down in Atlanta, happens to end up with Negan. Why didn't Morales go to Texas? Why didn't Morales run into John Dory? I mean, would you have loved like to be in that room? You probably had at the time Scott Gimple, Greg Nicotero, Gail Hurd, Robert Kirkman, and it was like, you know, internet's really been wondering about Morales. Hey, let's bring him back. How do you even suggest that? And he just ends up in the exact same location. So not, you know it's funny. Not Richmond, not Charlestown, West Virginia, not Baltimore, Maryland. Not Arlington. He ended up in Alexandria, Virginia. Just right where everybody's at. So the Morales thing is up there on my list. All good points. So now that we sort of got the mental juices flowing here, so we talked about Morales, we talked about kind of the beta story. And I know it's unfair to bring up Fear the Walking Dead. And I know they didn't want to copycat the series for The Walking Dead. But boy, wouldn't it have been good to have like a real villain on Fear the Walking Dead? Just never, it's never manifested. It's never been, and even if we did, the story progresses too fast that you wouldn't remember who they are. All right, so let's talk about a couple let's talk about a couple like villain gang names. The Wolves. The Saviors. So, Sharpie Lady. I mean, well, you know, those are kind of names we've given too. I don't think she was officially the Sharpie Lady, but yeah, that Sharpie Lady story, that had some potential. But I have to say, of all the names, of all the groups or bodies of people, whatever the case may be, the Vultures might be the worst gang name of any group. To me, when I think the Vultures versus the Wolves, I feel like it's going to be like a West Side Story dance-off. Or there's two groups like in the Michael Jackson video, and you're basically just going to see who can win a dance contest. Because neither one of them seem like they were even worthy of a name. Like, I think that you got to be able to attain a status in order to have like a gang name. Right? I don't know. I can't think of one right now. But maybe the Saviors. Right? The Saviors, they killed people, but they kind of mocked it and they saved people because they protected you. So I'll give the Saviors credit for having like a name. Exactly, Gemstone. Like Fire and Brimstone. You earn a good name, like Twisted Sisters. However, I will say this. The Vultures, believe it or not, did kill the two biggest stars on Fear the Walking Dead. Because they did kill Madison and they did kill Nick. So, maybe there was hope for them. But they're such a bad group, they didn't even kill them on purpose. That's how bad the writing was on Fear the Walking Dead. If you're going to kill the two biggest stars on Fear the Walking Dead, you do it like Alpha. Like, you do it like Glenn. Could you imagine if Rick and Michonne were out walking? Okay, let's say Rick and Michonne, they took a day trip to the beach. Well, maybe not even a beach. Maybe a lake. Rick and Michonne, they took a day trip to the lake, and there was a pier. And they decided to take off their shoes. And they were sitting there, and they were kind of dabbing their feet in the water. And they got up and took a step, and there were two rusty nails. And Rick and Michonne both died of tetanus the next day. That's the equivalent of how Fear the Walking Dead killed Madison and how they killed Nick. You've got, they could have had people talking, but the only thing with Nick they were talking about was like, I really like Nick. Huh? Charlie just shot Nick. And then Madison, it was just like, okay, well, nobody cares, but maybe she's alive. Nobody cared she was dead. They only cared that she might still be alive. Just saying. And once again, I know it's unfair. It's unfair to bring Fear the Walking Dead into conversation, but I miss Fear the Walking Dead. You know, it's kind of like that ex that treated you a little bit bad, not really bad, but a little bit bad, and then they're your ex, and maybe you just missed them a little bit. That's kind of what Fear the Walking Dead is. I think Fear the Walking Dead, I miss them a little bit. Now, part of it might be because we don't have any Walking Dead. And I was interested in seeing the new show. But the whole 2-year thing, that did not make me more interested. That did not get me more excited for the show. Because again, that would be like investing in a relationship and somebody says, hey, you got 2 years. What are you going to do with that? So to announce a show that is going to only have 2 years just doesn't build up. I mean, I'm okay with it having 2 years. I just don't want to know in advance. I'd rather surprise me. You know, let me wake up one day and all the stuff's gone and the closet's empty. That would be better than planning it out and knowing 2 years in advance. So, yeah, I wasn't a fan of that move either. Unless we're just going to keep doing spinoffs. But the problem with spinoffs is George Idle is probably going to speculate through somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that there's a rumor that everybody's doing a spinoff. Dog's going to get a spinoff. Judah's going to get a spinoff. Scott's going to get a spinoff. There's going to be a 3-part miniseries called Enid in the Shed, and it's going to be Final Moments of Enid. I mean, you know, that's people get too hungry for it. They get too hungry for every little detail. And to this point, and speaking of spinoffs, that was like a spinoff. That was like the Circle of Death spinoff. YouTube has been my nightmare all day long. I can tell you that. Did anybody log on YouTube about an hour ago? And almost everything was completely blank? Yeah, I don't think YouTube liked my question, but I am going to ask it again because I have had challenges with YouTube all day long. But yeah, it was weird about an hour ago, just everything was gone. All right, everybody. Hey, we're going to be doing this, we might be doing this back and forth for a little while, but we did manage to get about 45 minutes in. So let me just thank you guys for being here tonight. We just wanted to kind of get all the Walking Dead fans together, gather, and I'm going to start saying really nice things. I love YouTube. Thanks for not having any of my stuff show up about an hour ago. But yeah, it was certainly some challenges. But hey, thanks to you guys. We're certainly going to we'll be back next Thursday night. Check out our channel. We've got gaming going on. We are going to get back to random things. Last week was a little bit of a challenging week because we had some other things that sort of conflicted with that. But I do just want to say, number one, you guys please stay safe. I'm not going to try to be the person that predicts everything. But, my hope is that one day we get back to a more normal situation, and that means our normal TV Okay, well, anyway, have a great night, everybody. You guys are absolutely incredible. I will see many of you tomorrow night. Hopefully, YouTube cooperates with us a little bit tomorrow night. Now, I'm not going to say anything nice. I'm going to rant because they've been sucking all day long, and with all the money that YouTube is making with people quarantined, they should be able to jack up the speed of this so there are 0 dropped streams. You hear me, Google? So thanks, everybody. Appreciate you guys being here. I will see you all tomorrow night. Have a good night, everybody. Peace.